This evening, Granger goes for a greener Guyana at GuyExpo. Guyana's premier trade fair and exposition was declared open last evening. Chile's ambassador spoke of some of the ventures that his country wants to pursue of ours. Retired migrant professor killed and 6 teenagers arrested. In the region, in Trinidad, British Petroleum's regional president hits back at critics. And internationally, Brooke Burke wants to co-host Live with Kelly after being blindsided by ABC.
From Safetv headquarters in South Bradford Gardens, this is Safetv Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Join us. President David Granger opened GuyExpo 2016. During the opening ceremony, he addressed those in attendance on the importance of ensuring that Guyana becomes a green economic powerhouse during the next 50 years. Here's more. Last night marked the beginning of GuyExpo 2016, held at the National Exhibition Center in Safetv. The goal of the expo is to showcase goods and services from both Guyana and overseas. The night began with speeches from regional business people as well as musical performances showcasing Guyana's talent.
Oh, beautiful Guyana, oh, my lovely native land.
The keynote speaker for the evening was President David A. Granger. He stressed the importance of developing Guyana into a green economy.
The high dependence on agriculture and inexhaustible natural resources place Guyana at risk of erosion of its natural assets. Guyana therefore needs a sustainable model for its economy, a model of resource exploitation and extraction in order to check the depletion of its natural assets so that these assets will also be available to future generations.
Making Guyana into a green economy not only has environmental benefits, but also economic, especially in the face of high oil prices.
In 2012, we spent nearly a quarter of our GDP paying for petroleum-based products. Guyana needs a green development strategy, and this is my task, this is my mission. My mission is to build a green economy. We are going to transition our economy towards a renewable, clean, and cheaper source of energy.
Relying less on extractive industries such as gold, bauxite, and timber has net benefits for the environment. It will also aid in job growth and innovation.
Green development is good for business. Guyana's green revolution will spawn a wide range of businesses. It will produce and generate employment opportunities. Electric cars, hybrid vehicles, energy-saving devices, solar home systems, organic foods, recycling plants, environmentally friendly buildings, green construction materials, biodegradable packaging materials, sustainable agricultural and green financing options are just some of the areas around which new enterprises and jobs will be created.
He stated that he will establish nature reserves in each region of Guyana as well. After speaking to the audience, the president made his way to the roundabout for a short ribbon-cutting ceremony, as well as a quick tour of some of the vendor booths featured at GuyExpo 2016. Chile's ambassador to Guyana feels that Guyana has such massive potential that he would like to pursue ventures that would be of benefit to both countries. Rihanna Ahmad has more.
GuyExpo 2016 has been pleasing to first-time foreigners who have been signaling their intention to invest in Guyana, particularly in the country's agriculture sector.
We are of the view that Guyana has very good quality of land, but it's a little bit lag behind in technology application for production of goods.
That was the first resident ambassador of Chile to Guyana, Claudio Rojas Rachel. He told this newscast during an interview at the Safetv exhibition site last evening that while Guyana and Chile do share good relations at present, much more can be done to bring the two countries closer.
We are trying to open markets to new Chilean products into Guyana and also products of Guyana into the Chilean market. So we have a lot of areas of interest, of common interest, and we are in the phase of developing and working on those interests to move forward.
According to the ambassador, talks have already been had with government officials, including Foreign Affairs Minister Kyle Greenidge. The envoy went on to congratulate Guyana on the discovery of what is hoped to be commercial quantities of oil.
Probably what we need Guyana is to have a very strong strategic plan in order to know for sure from where you want to move from A to Z, and to make it that transition in a planned manner.
Chile, one of South America's most stable and prosperous nations, has the intention to help Guyana even more with whatever technologies and training is needed for the country's development.
And I am here in a permanent basis. So that's a reflection of the importance that we are allocated to Guyana. We have done a lot of work in the area of technical cooperation and in capacity building with many Guyanese professionals.
All in all, the ambassador says that he loves being on the land of many waters. But what he is a bit uncomfortable with is vendors who speak Creole, because that prevents him from getting good bargains on very good local products. George?
Thanks, Rihanna. Well, our local businesses have certainly elevated their standards. We'd love to showcase more of these in another newscast. Increased pay for Guyanese? Today, the full Commission of Inquiry's report into the Guyana Public Service was handed over to President David Granger by Professor Harold Lutchman. Andrew Weeks has more.
The report was handed over in the presence of Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, Minister of State and Subject Minister for the Ministry of Public Service, Joseph Harmon, among others. Commission of Inquiry Chairman Professor Harold Lutchman, while paying tribute to the other commissioners for work well done, said he could not pronounce on the report as it was the duty of the President of Guyana to do so.
But at the same time, we hasten to point out that we labored very hard to produce the content of the report and honestly hope that it includes findings and recommendations relevant to addressing issues which are challenging to the public and the public service in Guyana.
Professor Lutchman also thanked the other commissioners and the two research assistants for a highly commendable work on the report. The terms of reference of the COI state a purpose to inquire into, report on, and make recommendations for the sole functions, recruitment, process, remuneration, and condition of service for public servants. The Commission was also expected to determine measures to improve the efficiency of the public service and detailed examination of how the salaries and wages were determined and allocated. Meanwhile, President David Granger, after accepting the report, expressed his gratitude to the COI team. He also stated that 3 months after getting into office, he had the Public Service Ministry on his mind and that he had every confidence in the Commissioner's examination of the conditions under which public servants had to work.
So there's no doubt about the confidence that the government has in their ability to discharge their functions, and I'm sure that the public too will share that confidence. No country can function without an efficient public service. And sometimes people like to be critical of what they call the bureaucracy. And they equate the bureaucracy with red tape. And they equate the bureaucracy and red tape with unnecessary delays.
Mr. Granger also posited that the public service was there to ensure that the state was well governed.
And politicians will be elected and they will leave, but the public service remains and is responsible for continuity. It's responsible for the maintenance of standards. It's responsible for the enforcement of the laws of the country. And any country that tries to be lawless is going to come to grief. And you can look at different parts of the world and you can see some lawless areas. But if we are to be lawful, we have to have a professional public service.
President David Granger also stated that he'll be focusing on 3 areas where public servants are concerned: impartiality, education, and experience. Mr. Granger also went on to state that we must return to the standard on which the performance of public servants is related to promotion and pay. He also assured Guyanese that this is the step in the right direction to make the public service more efficient. George, back to you.
Well, there you have it. The long-awaited report is now finished. Now, more money for public servants. Let's wait and see. Thanks, Andrew. Coming up on Headline News after the break, retired migrant professor killed, 6 teenagers arrested, and Guyana Expo 2016 declared open.
I'll say, will you marry me? I swear that I will mean it. I say, will you marry me? Sing it.
Jean-Louis Styles, simply different.
With a distinctive flavor, Umda Palka ghee is made from 100% pure vegetable oil. This Palka ghee is a delight when preparing sweetmeats and other dishes for healthy cooking with a rich buttery taste and aroma. It is used for religious purposes and is a principal fuel for burning. Umda Palka ghee is light, pure, with a real ghee texture.
Put your flags in the air. Put your rags in the air. Put your hats in the air. We celebrating 50 years and we still going. 50 years and we still growing. 50 years. Let's all come together. 50 years and make Guyana better. Yes. Come on. It's our 50th anniversary.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's for dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safetv Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safetv Channel 2.
A retired professor who recently returned home to Guyana after many years was last evening killed, allegedly by 6 teenagers who also raided his home of valuables. Dead is 75-year-old Peridou Mars, a former professor of ethnic studies at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. Crime Chief Wendell Blenheim has confirmed this, explaining that 2 of the suspects are girls. Reports are that one of the females, who usually sleeps at the house, invited her boyfriend, who then invited some male friends. Together, they proceeded to beat the man to death before stealing a quantity of items from his home. These items include laptops, Xboxes, mobile phones, clothing, music sets, and other items which were stuffed into suitcases and taken away. Mars, fondly referred to as Professor Perry, was found dead by his wife, tied to a chair in the house and bleeding from wounds to his face and head. The suspected youngsters were later arrested by lawmen in the Sophia-Campbellville area. When reporters arrived at the man's home last night, several persons showed up to offer condolences to his wife, who was visibly overwrought by grief. Are citizens and business persons in Guyana following proper fire prevention practices? Fire Chief Marlon Gentle believes that the fire which destroyed the Gafor industry on Monday is an example of the importance which should be placed on the observance of the building code. He spoke to members of the media at Parliament on Thursday on the issue as well as fire safety for fire officers. Andrew Weeks reports.
Fire Chief Marlon Gentle said the cause of the Gafour's fire is still unknown and is under investigation. On Monday, fire gutted Gafour's housing complex, leaving billions in damages in its path. Over 300 workers were dispatched to branches across the country. He feels that it is only reasonable for persons to follow the building code.
We have been harping for a long time now for the need for the building code that was developed and was in the draft stages to be moved forward to some level of implementation, which will alleviate all of these issues that we encounter with unregulating the building industry, so to speak. This is not a Guyana Fire Service or a Fire Prevention Act, so to speak. The Fire Prevention Act is just there as a guide to give the fire service powers to inspect these buildings.
In addition, he stated that the regulations of building inspections pose a problem. Some of the sections in the building code are enforcement, fire safety, plumbing, hardwood, high-risk buildings, and structural steel, among others. Gafour Complex houses one of the bonds which had a lot of combustible material which required the right temperature. Were these regulations observed? That will be for the investigators to find out. Meanwhile, the issue of fire safety and our ability to adequately handle such eventualities, especially when dealing with major fires, was one of the questions raised with the fire chief. Gentle said,
I always make the issue. Adequacy will never be that euphoria that or whatever you want to achieve. But there are some amount of protection for firefighters. We continue to acquire based on our budgetary allocations. And this thing is an ongoing update and the other features to ensure that everybody's covered.
Injury was sustained by one fireman while battling the inferno. The fireman, according to Mr. Gentle, fractured his left lower back. The fireman is said to be under observation at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, but according to doctors, his injury is not serious. But as regards safety training, Gentle was asked if his firemen were following those guidelines.
The first training a firefighter gets, or any firefighter gets, in every aspect of his training, is the safety aspect, and how to be safe.
And is that continuous?
It is also continuous.
George, the fire chief, also stated that companies and homeowners are not following the fire code, and if they did, many fires would have been prevented. He also is hoping that lawmen would give them the power to enforce the building code in a more meaningful way. George, back to you.
Many were eagerly awaiting the event, which was boycotted last year. But to the disappointment of some, the opening was not as spectacular as previous years. But this is not to say that persons did not have fun. The event was especially pleasing to local businesses.
We haven't had GuyExpo last year, but compared to the other year, what has this opening night been like?
Well, so far, so good for us. We do expect more customers to come out and to support our booth here.
There were also a number of international companies present at the event. Their aim for the next few days is to attract potential business partners in Guyana.
Looking at the feedback from the consumer,
let's spend some of this money that we put into all of these projects that doesn't benefit the masses. You know, like packaging center like in Albystown, Charlestown, Sophia, Agriculture, because we cannot take away crime unless we get what is called job creation. So when the analysts and all these people sit down to say that, oh, crime drop, young people, the idle. You understand? Some of these young men that committing crime, you can take away the guns that they have, put into people's head and give them silicone gun.
With approximately 360 booths set up at the center, GuyExpo 2016 was launched into full swing as the country entered the celebration of its 50th independence anniversary on May 26. The exposition, which boasts the theme 50 Years Guyana Means Business, promoting enterprise, driving productivity, will culminate on Sunday.
Oh, beautiful Guyana, oh, my lovely native land.
Although last evening was not as spectacular as previous opening nights, perhaps due to the rains, GuyExpo 2016 does have the entire weekend to wow patrons. And hopefully, George, we would actually get to see some fireworks.
Thanks, Rihanna. We do look forward to something more spectacular in the remaining nights. Musical talent can be found the world over, including our corner of the world. The Creator family wishes to highlight this with a set of events in honor of the Golden Jubilee. Here's more. The Creator family consists of musicians, artists, and business people from around the Caribbean determined to improve the world through the arts. Last year, they hosted a tour of Guyana with well-known reggae artists including Danny English, Singing Vernon, and Popcorn. This year, they have planned an even bigger tour for Guyana. Wednesday, I sat down with two members of the group, Travis Washington and DJ Killer Miller, to learn more about the great events they have planned for the 50th, including one they have planned for tonight. All of the events are free of charge. This is out of the desire to make the music available to anyone and to help stimulate the economy. The events are not restricted to this month alone. The series of events for the 50th Independence Anniversary goes beyond May 26. The Creator family has events planned up to December, making this the Golden Jubilee year.
The Jubilee is for people who don't know that the Jubilee celebration does not end in the month of May. It ends in the month of December. So Guyana, thumbs up that we doing Jubilee big, big, big. We doing Jubilee huge.
The Arts Collective believes that their uniqueness comes from the fact that they go and search for talent where most may be too afraid to go to.
I want to get more Guyana music out there, not only for me, for the other worlds to see. Right, so Guyana artists, thumbs up to you guys, the ones that were putting in the work, continue to doing it. Now Creator family would always be there to collaborate with any other artist. We want to bring out talent. And this talent that we're bringing in is the ones that people don't look for. We going into the ghettos. We going into the place them that you don't want to go because they have the talent there. So.
For more information about the upcoming events by the Creator family, please call cell phone number 684-8447 or their landline number at Washington Communication and Transportation Services. This number is 231-1820. Still ahead, our regional and international news.
Women's fashion trends change every day. That's why John Lewis Styles makes it their duty to source items directly from the manufacturing brand, offering you more choices and better prices. Women love to look great, whether it's for work or play, from clothing, shoes, accessories, to handbags, watches, fragrances. Let's make you feel like the only girl in the world. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
In news from the region now. In Trinidad, British Petroleum's regional president has hit back at critics who've bashed his and other multinational companies, saying it's unhelpful, unproductive, and only serves to foster a negative environment for firms operating here. Here's more from C News.
There are many pockets of unhelpful discord that I believe work against growth and against prosperity.
That's where the BP president began the real message of his speech at the AmCham meeting, making it clear that bashing, as he put it, of multinational companies here helps no one, especially in a downturn.
There are some who would have us believe that multinationals do not have the country's best interest at heart, or that much of the value we create is moved out of the country. In BP's 55 years of operations in Trinidad and Tobago, our upstream business alone has generated over $50 billion US dollars, or over 300 billion TT dollars of operating cash flow. Out of that, BPTT has paid approximately 50% to the government in taxes and royalties.
In April, BP Global had announced an operating profit of some $532 million, surprising international analysts. Locally, earlier this year though, BPTT had announced it was offering VSEP to some of its workforce, but continuing with the Juniper project and ultra-deep-water and land-based projects. But Mr. Christie sought to put it on record, the misconception of taxation.
The sensational stories about decreased taxes due to changed fiscal incentives and 100% one-year write-offs for projects such as Juniper have no basis in reality. Even if the tax codes had not been changed 2 years ago, we would still have the same reduction in taxes because of deeply depressed prices and reduced production.
BPTT said it's also writing off development spending over 3 years and not 1, as had been reported in some media outlets. The BP president also told AmCham the problems of bashing multinationals was only one area of what he referred to as unhelpful discord, and this distraction of unnecessary fighting is obscuring the fact that other countries are making good use of the downturn to improve their competitiveness. Roger Dwariker, C News.
And, internationally, Brooke Burke wants to co-host Live with Kelly after being blindsided by ABC. The former Dancing with the Stars host tells Entertainment Tonight that she would love to fill Michael Strahan's role on the morning talk show. Here's more from E.T.
Brooke Burke says she'd love to co-host Live with Kelly Ripa.
I'd love to go next to Kelly.
News broke in April that Michael Strahan is leaving Live for Good Morning America, and ever since there's been tons of speculation about who would replace him. One person who wants the gig, former Dancing with the Stars host Brooke Burke. The 44-year-old opened up to ET on Thursday at the Operation Smile Gala in New York City, where she revealed the personal reason why she'd love to join the show.
I love Kelly, and I actually would love to get, in the rounds for co-host. And you know what also? I feel her. I mean, I had a similar experience at ABC, sort of blindsided, and I think that she's handling it really well, and I fully understand what she's going through, and kind of woman to woman, been there.
Andy Cohen, Neil Patrick Harris, and Kelly's close pal Anderson Cooper have all been rumored to be in the running to fill Strahan's role. However, a source connected to the search for the new co-host tells ET they're, quote, definitely looking for someone more ethnically diverse. Who's your top pick? Let us know on Twitter at ETNow.
And that's Safetv2 headline news for this Friday evening. As we take our lead, we invite you to find Safetv2 headline news on Facebook and YouTube. You can also tune in on Sunday evening at 6:30 for a rebroadcast and Monday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast. Good night, and do have a blessed weekend.